Hello and welcome to The Huddle. I'm your host, JT Thomas, broadcasting live from the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening we're going to talk about WV football, and obviously, as you all know, it's kind of a trend going on here. We're having high schoolers in the house, and we got Braden Pickett in the house tonight. She's a soccer player from University High School, and we got my good friend Jordan Thompson, former WVU wide receiver. Guys, let's get it on here. To be honest with you, we're going to start off here with soccer. the other football. Braden's a up-and-coming star for the University High School football. It is a football team, isn't it? It's a soccer, football, same thing.
Yeah, basically.
Let's talk about soccer a little bit. You guys played last week. Can you tell me a little bit about the team, what your record is, and what do you guys see yourself doing this season?
Well, we're 7-0-2. Last year we were state champs, so we obviously want to repeat that. But I mean, yeah.
It's all good. You know, I'm honestly and truthfully, I just talked about before the show, like I've never played soccer. Like, you know, I was just saying, when we played kickball, you know, I'm being from Florida, I mean, it was kickball, basketball, and football, you know. So it's all new to me. So now, Jordan, I know that you know a little bit about soccer. You talk to me about a little bit of soccer.
Yeah. You know, what position do you play, first of all?
Center mid.
Play center mid. Like, you haven't tried, did you ever think about, you know, when you were little, like being like a forward?
No, I always wanted to like control the game.
So that's the main reason why you didn't want to score goals or anything?
I mean, I still score.
I know, but not as much as you could if you were just strictly a striker.
No,
yeah, but it's all right. She's like, I'm the QB. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good relatable topic, being a QB. Talk about being a leader and being a QB of a soccer team. What is your job?
I mean, my job is just kind of to like, distribute the ball like wide and like give other players opportunities to score, like our forwards, and to keep the team kind of calm and like relaxed so we can play our game and not get all flustered.
Okay, now are there plays in soccer? I mean, do they like draw up plays? Or?
I mean, for corners and like set pieces, like throw-ins, we have like different plays, but not like
George,
during the game.
George, speaking Spanish to me about the set plays, man.
Yeah, she was just telling me basically she wishes that she controls the tempo of the game.
Okay.
And you know, and also to try to keep her composure, like just as. Because when you score a goal in soccer, 1-0 it's kind of a big, especially like 2-0 in soccer, that deficit's huge.
Right, I noticed that.
It's a running clock. It's also a running clock.
Oh, so. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a running clock. So that's why the games can really be long, and you can only end up with like 2 points or something like that in the game. I've noticed that.
Who's y'all's next opponent?
George Washington.
George Washington, and they're a pretty good squad out here.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
So, like, anything, like, against George Washington, like, is it going to be, like, a revenge game for them? Because, like you were telling me, y'all played them in state last year, right?
Yeah, we played them in the state final, so for them, they're probably, like, gunning for us.
What was the score in the state final?
1-0.
1-0. Oh, so it was a close game.
Yeah.
So they're definitely looking forward to, avenging themselves from that last year's state. Yeah. But any bad blood between y'all?
No, no bad blood. I think, like, every year we've played them, it's been a good game, a good competition, so I think it's just going to be like, as it has been the past 4 years.
Yeah, where did you end up committing?
Shepherd University.
Shepherd, congratulations.
Congratulations, absolutely, absolutely. Are you looking forward to going to, does Shepherd have a good team, or where you see yourself adding value to Shepherd's team?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I want to go in and make my impact on the team, and I'm just looking forward for next year so I can go in and do that. And like with my class that's already committed there, we've already have like a relationship between all of us, so I'm just excited to go and play with them.
That's awesome, that's awesome. Give it up for University High School. I tell you what, now let me ask you, this is probably a stupid question, and I'm going to ask a few stupid questions because I'm just a football player. Well, I'm a defensive player. So who's like the linebacker of soccer?
Linebacker?
So like well, I guess that'd be the people that defend the goal.
Like the captain of they'd be basically, technically the captain of like the defense.
Like, who would, like, I mean, is there like a group of guys that protect the goalie?
Our back line.
Or is that just the goalie?
Our back line.
Oh,
like
the
our
back line.
You can just run it for him. Just run it like position wise. So start from like the goalie and just work up. So
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He doesn't know the positions.
I don't know the position.
All right, so there's like the goalie, and then you have 2 outside backs and then 2 center backs, and they're like the defensive line. So
Okay,
like,
I got it. There we go. I heard defensive line in there.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
and then there's the midfield, and there's like different formations, but we play a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
So we
Oh.
have 2 center mids, and then 2 outside mids, and then 2 attackers, which are like our goal scorers.
Oh, okay. Now that works for me. That's a little defense right there. Defense is universal language. Right, and I heard the word attack in there too. So those are things that we definitely do in football. And, a lot of guys I know who are former soccer players tend to do quite well in football. It translates pretty well. And a lot of those guys are guys like D-backs or what have you, wide receivers. What do you think of kickers? Absolutely kickers. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right.
Just because the workout's so different, like in soccer, I'm trying to tell you, like, I honestly think y'all's practice is a lot harder than football practice, just because y'all run nonstop. Like, I was telling her a story before the show, how in West Virginia we were out there working out in the weight room, and we were looking out, and this girl soccer team was practicing, and we were just sitting there. We were more tired watching them than actually lifting, just because they were out there running. And our strength coach said that they actually ran close to 10 to 12 miles a day just for practice. And I was like, that's crazy. That's insane.
That's why WVU has such a great soccer team, from what I gather. Again, I think it's just a sport that, you see a lot of youth playing soccer nowadays.
Yeah.
And in this area, I see it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Like, what age do they start playing soccer? Is it really young?
I started when I was like 5.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I was pretty young.
So you can't even play football till 8,
Yeah, my brother plays football, and he started when he was, I think, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, let's big up for soccer. I have to say this, just because we talk about concussions and things of that nature in football. Do you have those kind of concerns in soccer? Because you use your head and you're getting the ball kicked at you.
For sure. I mean, last night we had a collision between one of our players and one of the MHS's players, so I mean, it's always a concern.
It's a physical sport.
Yeah,
See,
very
I may
physical.
start watching soccer a little bit more because it got that physicality in it. And I'm all about aggression. As I said last week, we had all these offensive players on the panel, and I felt like I couldn't really be myself, because I'm really aggressive. But I'm glad to have you on, and I feel like we'll be able. First of all, I've learned a few things from you in regard to soccer, and hopefully Jordan and I will be able to talk a little more football and see if we can figure out how they two both coincide on this stage as right now.
Yeah, they do.
Hey, so Jordan, talk to me about your experience with soccer. Have you ever played soccer?
No, I never played soccer. My parents didn't feel like the need, before they just thought it was just running around and kicking it. But I always had an interest in playing soccer. And as I grew up, in junior high and stuff, I would just play soccer just backyard wise, and for PE and stuff. But I always enjoy soccer. I like playing soccer video games. I love FIFA. That's one of my favorite games, and I'm really good at it.
And soccer is the international sport, right? It's number one international sport, and they oftentimes get confused why Americans call football, and we don't use our foot, necessarily to advance the ball. I hear that conversation all the time. Who's tougher, football or soccer? And you're going to make me want to go out and check out soccer.
You
Believe it
should.
or not, I will. I remember a couple years ago when our athletic director, Oliver Luck, was preparing to come to West Virginia, and he was preparing to put a soccer team in Texas. And I just did not figure that soccer was going to be a big professional thing in America. Then I believe it's starting to kind of take root. Have you heard anything in regard to professional league, or what's your thought on professional soccer leagues in America?
I mean, I think they're important because I go out and I go watch them, and so to help younger girls that can go out and watch and see that they can go play the guys play over across the seas and everything. So I think it's important.
I remember the only thing that sticks in my head when I think of soccer and the women is Mia Hamm. Is that her name?
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
That's a really long time ago.
Yeah, that's a long time
She's
ago.
retired.
That was when we were young, probably 4 and 5. She's a legend, don't get me wrong, but there's new stars now.
Oh, okay. Well, y'all drop some of the new stars, though.
Yeah, so who's your favorite player?
Current player, Alex Morgan, but Abby Wambach was my favorite player before she retired.
Yeah, okay, so with Alex Morgan, there was controversy with her. Was right? There was controversy with her with the when she got in trouble.
Oh,
With,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? So even with her getting in trouble and stuff, is she still your favorite player?
I mean, she's still a powerhouse.
Yeah. So you know what? You're loyal. I like
Yeah.
that. She's loyal. She's loyal. But do you have any like aspirations of like trying to try out for the, the Olympic team?
Not really.
Why?
I mean, I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, was that ever one of your dreams? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you can achieve it regardless.
I mean, when I was younger, that was always kind of like, oh,
That
that
was
would
like
be so cool.
The
Like,
ultimate goal, like, cause I
Yeah.
love watching the World Cups. Like,
Yeah,
the
me
that's
too.
when you need to start watching
The
on
World
TV.
Cup.
When
Yeah.
the World Cup
Sure.
comes, man, it's intense, man.
It is.
wow.
I still remember when Germany played. Well, this is for men. So when Germany played Argentina for the World Cup, and I remember when Germany scored that goal with Super Mario.
Oh, yeah. I remember
I was
that.
upset because I was rooting for Messi. I wanted him to finally get that, that stamp on his legendary resume. But yeah, it's really fun, man.
Wow, I got to check it out. I really got to check it out. Hey, but listen, guys, I want to remind you, we're here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. Come on down and check us out. Guys, we're going to get into the trivia questions, and all you had to do is really listen to what we were saying, and I'm going to ask you a question that you should get. So, and I may have to give you a multiple choice question. The question is, what's university current soccer record? You have to raise your hand, and we'll bring a mic over to you, and you'll get a chance to win this cup and lanyard.
7-0-2.
7-0-2. You're absolutely correct, and you win this cup and lanyard. Ladies and gentlemen, to win, all you have to do is come down here at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill every Wednesday at 6 p.m. If you don't catch us here, make sure you go to the DominionPost.com and you can check us out there. All right, let's get back into it. Now, I'm going to cross over a little bit. I'm going to bring you over into football. Now, did you get a chance or did you hear anything about West Virginia playing this weekend?
I know we won.
We did win, and that's always a good thing. That's the first step. We did win. And did we win, Jordan?
Yeah, we won big, but to give her, a pass, she was playing a soccer game.
Absolutely.
So don't act like she didn't want to watch it on TV or wanted to go to the game. She was playing a soccer game.
I was going to let her explain that. I get it. West Virginia played ECU, East Carolina University. Last week we came in, Jordan, and we were worried about the letdown in terms of West Virginia kind of playing down to the competition. But honestly and truthfully, the Mountaineers stepped out in a big way and put up some nice numbers. What do you think about it?
I was in all cylinders, both offense, defense, and special teams. The Mountaineers looked to click, and it was evident, the potential of how great this offense could be. Yes, it was going against a lesser opponent compared to Virginia Tech, but nonetheless, it built confidence, and it just shows you the potential of how great this offense and defense and football team in general could be.
Jordan, what do you think about this kid, Will Greer? All right, he's the guy, he's actually opposite of your position, right? He's the quarterback. I'm going to tell you about it. He's the quarterback of West Virginia football team, and he's come in, a lot of accolades coming in, and started off kind of slow against Virginia Tech, but he came and was able to play in front of the Mountaineer fan base and really led the team. Do you know anything about him? If you don't, that's fine, because I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. That's my job.
No.
Like I said, so he is this guy, and I have to say, as a player, we really don't put a lot of emphasis in what people write about people, right? We just like you on the soccer field, we want to see you put your money where your mouth is. And this guy, Will Greer, has really been, in the last two games, has really shown that he's kind of what the media has hyped him up to be. He's a real leader on the field. So I want to encourage you, if you get a chance when you're not playing, to watch out for this guy, Will Greer. He's a pretty sharp shooter. All right? You promise me you'll do that?
I promise.
All right. Let's keep talking about it. So West Virginia comes out, scores early with Justin Crawford. Last week, I know you and I talked about the limited touches he had against Virginia Tech. I think this game they did a good job of dispensing the ball.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did. And like I told you, it's probably their game plan against Virginia Tech. But that's why it seemed like it was limited amount of touches. Also, West Virginia was down nearly the whole entire game, so they had to play catch up, which is the fastest way is to pass the ball. Like I said, Crawford, man, he's a humble guy. He's a team player, and when he gets the rock, something special will happen. It's just the fact of getting the rock and you never know when your number's going to be called upon. And I know he'll always, step up to the challenge.
Absolutely. You know, we as players, again, you worry about, well, I probably worry more than anything else about playing down to the team. And what generally happens is the expectations in terms of sports rights and things of that nature really play you real down if you don't put up big numbers. And West Virginia kind of really just didn't miss any beats. I mean, they went out there in that first half and put up nearly, in fact, it was 49 points before the first half. And that's kind of unheard of. I mean, that in the soccer terms, that would probably be like 3-0, you know? So again, it was a huge accomplishment for the Mountaineers in front of their fan base. And you might be able to, I'm sure you'll be able to speak to the fact that we were playing in Morgantown in front of the Mountaineer faithful. Have you ever been to the stadium and been at the game and watched the fans support the team? What do you think about our fan base and how we come out?
I think it's incredible. Like I can't even imagine like actually being able to play like that. Like the energy is just crazy.
It is, and you hit the right word, energy, right? And I'll tell you a little bit about it, and I'm sure Jordan can. When you come out on Mountaineer Field, they come through. Well, they don't come through the tunnel anymore.
No, we come to the weight room now.
Again, see, that's new stuff here. So they come through the weight room.
Well, I did come through the tunnel my first year.
Okay, he know about the tunnel.
Yeah.
When you come through that tunnel, Jordan, Braden, it is a feeling of electricity when you walk through there and you notice all those people in the stands. And you know that they're rooting for you, and you are willing and ready to do anything that it takes to win a football game. Would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. You know, when you come from when you're walking down the tunnel, it's all closed and stuff, and you just, you're over here, you got your mind right and stuff, but as soon as you come out the tunnel, it's just like the prettiest thing you've ever seen. Just fans cheering, wearing gold and blue, and just this positive energy and adrenaline rush just goes straight through it before even the kickoff. So we definitely have the best fan base in the nation.
Absolutely, it is. And again, not very many people get up. And I tell you what, the fact that tunnel makes it feel like the energy is compressed and just kind of almost like you're getting ready to be shot out of cannon.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, it is a cool experience, and I have to say it is very rewarding for players to be able to play in front of fans. And hopefully, if you've been to games where we won, and you got a chance to see the Mountaineers come around and see country roads. Yeah. Let's keep getting after it. So let's keep talking about football in terms of the production of the Mountaineers. Running back wise, we saw a few running backs in terms of, you saw Kennedy do well, score a touchdown. I think there was a total of 8 touchdowns in the game. That's a big number for West Virginia. I don't know where we stand in terms of records, but that's a big number for the Mountaineers to score in their second game of the season. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big number, but it could be a number where West Virginia can get used to it. They definitely have a very potent offense, a lot of weapons on that offense. It starts with the quarterback, with Will Greer being composed, and also just his ability to find his receivers and just the backfield. And he has the linemen. The line was actually very good. That's where you have to give all praise to the linemen, because without them, it destroys an offense. So they're like backbone of the offense, and the linemen did really good, especially keeping the pressure off of Will Greer.
It was exciting to see Will Greer being able to spread the ball around as a quarterback. He was able to hit 5 or 6 different receivers. We had a medley of receivers catching touchdowns. I believe there were 5 thrown touchdowns in the game. I know David Seal scored 3 of those 5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an awesome accomplishment for a guy. In fact, I'll say this. I think the Virginia Tech game, Will, being a first-year guy and being able to play with game speed, really didn't have that very much timing when it came down to completing passes. But this game, it just seemed like he was on with everything.
Yeah, he definitely was on. He, like I told you, he has confidence in himself, and he actually built confidence with his receivers, and it probably happened throughout the week in practice. And just going out there and finally putting it together and actually getting in a rhythm and finding their identity as an offense, which was very key in games like this. Just to know what you expect and what y'all are capable of doing. Just having that confidence, is a great thing.
And it falls at the right time in terms of the second game of the season. Just like in soccer, I'm sure there's times where you'd rather play a lesser opponent than an opponent that is going to give you competition. Talk about that. Talk about that feeling from a soccer perspective.
I mean, there's definitely been games we've gone up against a lesser opponent and like played down to like them. But I mean, against bigger opponents, we always seem to like build ourselves up and give it our all. But I think this year, what's different about our team is that we haven't been playing down to our competition. Is we've actually been playing up, and since we got our confidence from last year, coming off our state win. And so, like, we're just building off of everything from last year.
As a senior, I mean, that probably really speaks to what you do on the field, right? As your position of being able to keep the team up. I suspect, and I said last week that for Will Greer really had to win over this team. To say to this team, look, I'm just more than just hype. And he's done it as a quiet leader. Talk about being a quiet leader. Are you a quiet leader or are you rowdy?
I mean, a mix.
Okay, that's a good deal.
I mean, like, I've known the girls that I play with now since, like, our starting lineup, I've played with them for almost 3 years because it's all juniors and seniors. So, I mean, I think that, like, we've just been able to build together. We went from losing regionals my sophomore year to finally winning and ending on a win. So I think that, like, we all kind of look to each other, not just to me, but for, like, everyone to build each other up so that, I don't know, we can all, like, get on the same level. And, like, before each game, we do a little, like, hype circle thing, and, like, I lead it, and I, like, say, like, certain things we say in it. And then we all just kind of, like, come together and say what everyone wants to say and, like, what we want to accomplish that game. And I think it's, like, it's not, like, being a leader involves, you need your teammates to help you with that.
That's it. That's key. In fact, that's what we said in terms of Will Greer. Again, I keep mentioning his name. I keep talking about this guy because we really need this guy to do what you talked about doing over 3 years in a season, right? We need him to be able to come in right now and be productive for West Virginia, and I feel real good about it. But let's talk about what you mentioned, that front line. People don't realize, like, I guess the senior guy on that, Kyle Bosch is one of the leaders on that offense line. Talk about those guys being able to play together, although this is really a rebuilding of a line, but Kyle Bosch has been a study guy for Mountaineers.
Well, yeah, I was honored to play with Kyle for the past 2 years, and he's a leader. He's a leader on the offensive line. He was a leader ever since he stepped in at West Virginia, and he's been great. And he also helps the younger linemen. He helps, stays after, teaches them, watches a lot of film and stuff. He's very dedicated to his art. So just having that type of leader out there on the field gives confidence, and it's contagious and stuff. It's very contagious. Kyle, he's a different character, man. He's a verbal leader. He's a verbal leader, but he also leads by example.
That's so important for it is so important for players of that caliber to be able to step up and do that. Guys, we're going to do what we do best again. We're going to come right back at you with more trivia. Again, to get these trivia questions, you have to come down here and sit in front of us here at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill every Wednesday at 6 p.m. But let's get right into it. All right, to win this, next we're going to give you a Green Turtle shirt. These are cool shirts. I got to get me one before this show is over with. I got to find me a shirt my size. So listen, this is the question. You have to pay very close attention. How many touchdowns did West Virginia score? How many touchdowns did West Virginia score? All you have to do is raise your hand. We'll bring a mic over to you and give you a chance to win this shirt. All right, I'm going to give you some multiple choice questions. Were there 5 touchdowns? Were there 7 touchdowns?
You got one.
Or were there 8 touchdowns?
8.
You're absolutely right. 8 touchdowns. There you go.
Good job.
Again, all you got to do is come down here. We'll make it that easy for you. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. If you don't catch us here, make sure you go down to the Dominion Post online. We'll always be there. All right, guys, let's get back in. Let's get to the favorite subject that I like to talk about, and that's defense, right? I'm a defensive guy. I like talking about aggression. And, again, I'm going to try to make this work with soccer and You gave me a little education on the back line that does a little more defense, and you used the word attack. The Mountaineer defense, I thought they were attacking defense this week. They held the team under 100 yards rushing, under 200 yards passing. Those are great stats for a defense. Talk about how hard that is, Jordan.
It's very hard, especially when you're constantly on the field because your offense keeps scoring. But one of the big things this game that didn't appear last game was turnovers, and we finally got some turnover. Kaiser White did phenomenal having 2 interceptions, but on his interceptions, there were definitely great catches and stuff. But you got to give credit to the defensive lineman for applying pressure to the quarterback. They did a phenomenal job putting pressure on the quarterback, filling up the holes so running backs have no place to go and stuff. And, even in the second string, the backups, and the third string, when it got later in the game, they did a phenomenal job. So I feel like even though we're young, we're very deep in at the defensive position.
And this, again, I keep going back to this being a great game for the guys to really kind of get a good look, you know what I mean? In terms of playing Virginia Tech, that was all new to them. I'm sure they had to make some adjustments. But you had guys like Al Rasheed Bennett, who led the team in tackles, be able to produce for his team. As you mentioned, Kaiser White was able to make a few interceptions and really change the pace of the game. We talked about flipping the field and being able to cause turnovers. As I often try to get across the players, that's a stat that West Virginia depends on. Our defensive coaches depend on our guys to make the offensive players turn over the ball. And this week, we accomplished that task. That's one of the checks off that board that we can actually check off, and that's always a positive thing. So I'm going to try to get this to correlate with football, with soccer, all right? That is football. I can say football because it is football. So, if oftentimes, just like you do on soccer, you got the opposing team trying to score on your defense. Talk about what type of mode you get into when the opposing team is trying to score a goal on you all.
Attack.
Attack. Oh, I like that word, attack.
I mean, just got to midfield has to recover and get back, and then the defensive line has to step up. Use defensive.
Now listen,
line.
is there a word like interception in soccer? Like when you take the ball from an opponent?
I mean, you can say that, I guess, if you intercept a pass and take it away from them, I guess. But I mean, it's kind of like winning the ball.
Takeaways. That's another word. That's another football word. I got that. Takeaways. So West Virginia had a couple of takeaways, and I got it. Again, you guys probably think JT don't know what I don't. I mean, I'm being honest. Don't play soccer. Never did. But certainly I'm becoming a fan. I'm certainly becoming a fan of University with a 7-0-2 record. I'm sure I'll find a way to get out there and watch a game or two. Don't let me down if I come out there, because I'll come back and talk about it on the show.
All right.
Well, hey, I had a question. Y'all watch film of y'all opponent? Do y'all watch film of y'all opponent or get a scouting report?
I mean, we watch how we play. We don't watch
how y'all play. All right, so you said y'all run a 4-4-2, which is a formation, right? And do y'all ever switch it up to different formation? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Y'all do switch it up?
We'll play a 4-3-3 sometimes. So instead, there's 3 in the middle and then 3 up top.
Right.
So that's how you want to play if you want to get more on the offensive side. So you get kind of more offense generating.
Okay, you know what? I tell you what, I'm going to start trying to get some football players to watch this show. We might learn a thing or two, because I guarantee you, a lot of those big heavies don't play very much soccer.
Oh, yeah, no.
But again, I'm picking up the slang. Now, I heard 4-4-2. West Virginia runs a
3-3-5.
3-3-5, yes. 3-3-5 defense, right? And it kind of sounds like that's kind of what you guys do. So, again, let's keep moving, because we're going to talk about all 3 sides of the ball. That's what we do here. We're going to continue with defense and just talk about, some of the things we need to improve in terms of this game. It really wasn't a good barometer to say what we need to improve on, but I'm sure, as I've heard the coach talk about this past week about the little things. In a game like this, you really have to critique players on the little things, because in the grand scheme of things, this is not the kind of opponent we're going to see in the Big 12.
Yeah, and just the little things, because you don't want to build bad habits. And then when the bad habits come, when you're actually going against a very competitive opponent, a team that could actually be, on paper, better than you, the little things is what counts. Basically, that's why it makes Alabama so dominant, is because they always focus on the little thing. They're very disciplined. They pay attention to details and stuff. And that's why they're almost nearly impossible to beat. They can be beat just because you have to make less mistakes than them. So the little things is very crucial in winning football games. But nonetheless, they won the game. It's great, because winning in college football is definitely one of the hardest things to do.
And, I sit back and I make that comment because I listen to Coach Gibby talk about the little things, right?
Yeah.
The little things.
He's very, very particular about the little things.
Yeah, and if you watch the interview, you think we lost the game.
Yeah.
But it's really the mentality that a football coach has to have. he has to expect the very best out of his players no matter what your opponent does. Right? He's going to critique the little things. I guarantee that. As a former player, I used to always, I mean, I tell you, I'm just not kidding you. I really didn't know the plays very well, to be honest with you. I was a junior college transfer, I'm being honest. I would always line my foot up on the wrong side of the ball. And coach would always give me a minus just for doing that.
Yeah.
Right? If you line up.
Oh, yeah, because you do
right.
get checks and minuses.
Yes. So if you line up wrong, your foot on the wrong side of the ball one way or another, right, he would give you a minus. The only way I would recoup it was I would make the tackle. So he'd be mad that I was in the wrong spot. But I made the tackle, and I did more tackling than incorrect stance because I led the team in tackles both years I was here.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my best game performance-wise on the field was a terrible grade. It was just it was the awful grade. I mean, like usually you try to get at least you want to do 100%, but I end up having like a 76%, a lot of minuses just because of route running. Just my stance, coming off the ball. And even though that was my best game performance, it's the little things that count, But I definitely got to correct it because if I didn't get it correct, I wasn't going to play. So.
Again, all this stuff comes from, I watched some of the film from Coach Gibby and Coach Hogerson. They all seem like, we had to improve big time.
Yeah.
And again, what I'm telling you is they're talking about those little things that coaches know you got to have in place to be competitive down the line.
Right.
And I'm assuming it's the same way with soccer. You guys have to be meticulous about being where you're supposed to be and being able to run the field and do what you need to do to be productive. Does that sums it up?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
All right.
that's good.
Again, I just really want to just really give the Mountaineers because on this show, we're not obligated to say certain things, what have you. We just kind of tell it like it is. And I have to say I give the Mountaineers certainly a good grade for their performance. Now, I expect them to do a decent job against the upcoming opponent, Delaware State. Delaware State is not a Division I program, from what I gather. What do you think about Del State in West Virginia?
I mean, it's definitely a game that West Virginia should take care of business and improve on the little things, just getting the reps and building confidence. Delaware State has been struggling ever since last year. They have been on a losing streak, but nonetheless, you can't take your opponents lightly. I mean, look at Baylor. I mean, both weeks, right. Baylor's struggling both weeks. You just can't take for granted a team. And one of the biggest things is getting up for a game and getting ready for a game like this, at this nature caliber. When you're not going against the greatest athletes in the team as far as Delaware State, but it's going to be a great, regardless. It's just one game played on Mountaineer Field, and I feel like West Virginia will take care of business, and I feel like they're going to be a more polished team than you saw this past week.
So, Raiden, you got the Mountaineers playing another lesser opponent. What do you think a team has to do? Think about soccer. Your guys are going into a back-to-back weeks of playing lesser opponents. What do you got to do to keep the team mind focused on the object that's in front of them?
You take the team as if it's a team that maybe you lost to last year, and you go out as hard as you can as if it was a team that is really strong, and play them like that instead of starting off kind of hesitant and being like, oh, we're going to win the game, might as well not go as hard as we can and save up our energy for maybe our next game. I give you everything that game.
I agree with that. I mean, it is. I mean, you just don't. I'm telling you, fans, we never can underestimate any team because, as the saying goes, it's any given Saturday.
Yeah.
It's really up to the players to come out there and perform. You cannot take an opponent lightly. Let me talk about the kicking game a little bit before we do our next trivia. Kicking game went well. Molina did his job. And, I mean, you could probably do a kicker. You could be a kicker for a Division I football team. I mean, it can't be that hard, can it?
Nah.
I tell you, in the kicking game, obviously I've never played kicker before, but it's very important. And there's a lot of emphasis on the kicker to be able to come away with points when the opportunity presents itself. And I have to say Molina's done quite well in the last two games. He's been within his range. He's been able to hit field goals when he has to. Talk about the kicking game in terms of how important it is.
It's very important. It can basically win or lose a game. I mean, for instance, watching For instance, Monday Night Football. Chargers versus Broncos. Chargers were down 3. They had a great comeback, but, you know, came up 3 points short just because at the end of the game, they got a blocked field goal. The game was 24-21, blocked field goal, and that's how the Broncos won.
Yeah.
Because they blocked the Chargers field goal. So it's very crucial to, you know, in a game of football. And, you know, one of my questions for you is going back to soccer. Have you ever shot a PK?
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, my God.
now,
What's a PK?
it's a penalty kick. So basically, when the game, I mean, it's a penalty kick, but also like when the game ends in a tie. Sometimes, well, do y'all always go to PKs? Sometimes it depends.
Only important
It depends on the
games,
type of match it is, right?
If it's like for like an OVAC semifinal or final, that's
Or
what it goes to.
qualifying, yeah.
Yeah.
So based on so PK is basically like, let me put it in football terms. Basically, you have like 2 seconds left. Overtime. It's
Okay.
kind of like overtime.
Okay.
Kind of like overtime. But they line the ball up in front of the goalie, and then they shoot. You just take turns, alternate shooting. Now, how many PKs have you done?
This season I had one.
Okay, you have one. Now
Yeah.
tell me how that went and like what was going through your mind, because I know it's like an adrenaline rush, and you
Yeah.
kind of, some people get nervous. So it's like kicking a game-winning field goal.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Well, I had like a bad streak with PKs for a
Oh,
long
that
time.
was my next question. Like, you know, what's your record?
Yeah, no, it wasn't good until it was I think last year, and like I stepped up. We had one, and I stepped up, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna overcome my fear because I was like deadly afraid of them.
Yeah.
So I finally took one, and then I made it, and it was like now I just like I don't get nervous about it. I just kind of go up and like do my job, and then
Right, because you know
Yeah.
what's expected of you, and your teammates are counting on you because.
yeah, if you
I
miss
mean,
it.
Yeah, because if you miss a PK, because the goalies don't, like the goalie has that much. What, it's like 25, like. what's
Yeah,
it? It's a big. You have to
It's
big
a-
net. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's basically a guessing game for them because you got to think about how fast the ball's coming, and also they can like hesitate, which
Yeah.
throws the timing off and everything. So it's very hard for a goalie. It's just
Yeah.
more on the offensive stuff. So like when an offensive member misses a kick, it's a big win for the defense. You know,
Right.
they have the
Yeah.
advantage technically.
It is. I can say that I've seen that before, and I see that they make a big deal out of it when they score, and it's for the win. You
Yeah.
know, but I never really understood why they do it.
Well,
you know,
yeah, I mean, just think one of the greatest players, if not the greatest players besides Pele, you know, Messi, he ended up missing last year he ended up missing a PK, like first time. Like you never see Messi. Usually when Messi goes like, oh, it's automatic. Missed it, and Argentina he ended up losing.
Wow.
I was shocked too. I was on TV. I was at home. I watched it live. I was like, oh my gosh.
See, these guys here, when they start talking before the show, I'm like, you guys just go ahead, you know? Hey, for me, it's education, though. It really is. So I really appreciate you being here and being able to talk to us a little bit about it. Now, what I'm learning is when we bring on these high school kids, I'm going to have to step my game up. You know, we're going to do multiple sports, I'm going to have to be able to step my game up, do more research. Although I still wouldn't have known, you know, what to ask you because I wouldn't have known about the PK stuff. Certainly wouldn't. I'd have been watching guys running up and down the field, and it would have just me been watching soccer, you know. And again, I've seen some stuff like bad stuff in terms of people holding people's shirt, pulling hair, and all sort of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I get interested in because that's going to be the defensive stuff for me, you know?
Yeah.
I want to see the physical stuff. We're going to do one more trivia, and I'm going to go into my deal about rugby here in a little bit, and that's similar to soccer. All right, guys, this will be a soccer question because I just learned it. If you guys don't get it, that means you hadn't been paying attention. Again, to be here, to win these, and I'll give away another shirt, and this is my size. Listen, to be here, you have to be here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. If you don't catch us here, make sure you go check us out at thedominionpost.com. All you have to do is tell me what a PK is. Oh, there we go. See, I told you it's just that easy.
A PK is a penalty kick.
There you go. All righty. See, we learn together here. At In the Huddle every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar. It's really just that easy. Again, I'm going to keep on talking about the kicking game. Now, not very much in the kick return department again. I mean, it just, well, they really.
Well, they did. Yeah, they did get a couple returns off, but for the most part, it was like, well, you don't really get enough, kickoff returns and they don't score. You're only guaranteed one a game just because at halves, but they got two, and it was just. I mean, they were good returns. You could have busted them.
Yeah, again, the entire game just was much better in terms of overall all three sides of the ball. I mean, that's what it's all about. Improving every week in and week out on all three sides of the ball. It's a football tournament. When we say all three sides of the ball, we talk about offense, defense, and special teams. All three of those units have to be functioning very well. Oftentimes, when one is kind of lagging, you tend to lose ball games. It is very hard to win with one, 2 out of the 3 being good, and the third one not affecting the game at all. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's definitely right. I mean, you're only as strong as your weakest link, So it's definitely. I've been in games where defense has dominated and offense was struggling. And I've been in games where offense was dominating and defense was struggling. I've been in games where both offense and defense were doing great, but kicking was doing terrible. So it's very hard, and but nevertheless, you have to pick each other up, overcome adversity. But it definitely makes winning a lot harder.
Absolutely. And I'm sure in soccer, when you guys, is there a phase in the game where you have to motivate area more than others? Like, for instance, the defenders, is there like an offensive group that you can kick the ball to down the field?
I mean, the forwards.
The forwards. Okay, that's what they call them, forwards?
Yeah.
That's a basketball term there, but I'll go with the forwards. Okay, so the forwards, and I know you're like, this guy, but
I know
I'm honest. I'm being honest. I mean, you have to believe that I'm being honest and trying to. So when you kick it to a forward, I mean, do you have to, if they're not doing well, you're going to have a bad day, I assume, right? If the forwards are not doing well, you're going to have a bad day. I mean, is that the only way you can score with the forwards?
No.
Okay.
I mean, we have outside mids and our center mids too, but the forwards are the ones that'll go in and take on the defenders, and that's how you usually get most of your goals.
Yeah,
okay. That's what I was kind of.
I
didn't know how to say it, but that's where I was kind of.
It's kind of like, all right, let me put it in football terms. So if you're a receiver, you know how if you have one receiver, that's your primary receiver, that's your go-to guy, right? But if your go-to guy is struggling, you also have other receivers that can score, right? So that's kind of like the analogy you can use for that.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all help me out here. Listen, I'm not bashful about showing my ignorancy, on camera. I'm okay with that, I'm learning. I guarantee you I'll be watching more soccer, for sure. That's one thing we will get out of this here broadcast here. JT will be watching more soccer. I'll probably have to go to YouTube. But look, let me go back and tell my rugby story. Now, rugby is a good combination between football and soccer. In terms of running, I guess, it wouldn't be, and a little bit of kicking, right?
Yeah. No, there's a lot of kicking. There's a lot of kicking in rugby.
And rugby, that's right. They do kick the ball.
Because if you get tackled, you get kick it.
Right. I don't know the rules to it. I have to say that, right? So my story is, so I, as a former football player, they assumed because I played Division I football and I was a linebacker that I'd be good for this rugby team, right? Until we got in this thing they call the scrum, right? You ever heard of the scrum? Okay, so I get in this so the scrum is like a pack, like a huddle of all these guys together, and they push each other, right? And they try to, and they push the ball back. But the problem that I had is, dude, the person that comes up to grab the ball he got to hit you. He has to hit you real hard to grab the ball out of there. And I just couldn't get that. I'm like, listen, I'm on your team. And you got to run up and grab the ball so the other person don't get it. And it just became very tough on my legs. That's the first sport of my life that I quit. I just flat out quit. I'm telling you, I quit rugby. I mean, I'm being honest. It was too much. It was too much running. And I mean, we were running. So I assumed, soccer would be, rough on your legs,
Soccer's too much for you?
Yeah, soccer. I mean, what soccer? It probably would be.
You'd be tired. I'd be tired too.
Oh my God, it was. I guarantee you that if guys the team was called the West Virginia Mud Lobsters. They were really good. You guys remember that the mud lobsters from Yeah, I don't know. I'm old, I guess. But look, let's keep on going. That's my analogy. The closest thing that I ever came to soccer was rugby, where I lasted one day.
One day.
It was only one day.
I know he made it seem like he was like on the team for a while.
It was a couple games, practices.
You know, he got tired of them punching him in his legs and everything.
Like over time, he got tired.
One day.
Listen, I last one practice, man. It was one practice.
What? You weren't even playing nobody.
It wasn't even a game.
It wasn't even a game. I'm over here thinking like, you know, a year of a season, even through a season, straight
it was
quit.
one practice. I one practice. I said, man,
That's terrible, man.
I can't do it. My legs couldn't take it.
That's
My
funny.
legs couldn't take it. It was all bad. It was all bad. I couldn't. I'm just being honest here. But again, let's get back into football. I want to close it out. We're going to talk about Delaware State real quick and just say what it's going to take for the Mountaineers to be productive against Delaware State. And from my standpoint, we just need to do more of the same. Right? I think we go out there with a game plan to go up there and get up quick on them and really allow our team to play Mountaineer football. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely believe that if they go out there with the same mentality, don't take this team lightly as they did against ECU and Virginia Tech, you know, they're going to come out victorious. Just clean up the little things is going to be what's going to be the key for this game, is just be more polished up, looking more in sync as well as they did last game. So it's going to be a good, fun game. Great atmosphere. Fans are going to it's definitely going to be a great atmosphere just because they're playing on the home field. So
I'm excited to see the grouping of our receivers, Seals, White, the new kid, Sims. Marcus Sims scored a touchdown. It's just what's our main guy, number 12? I forget.
Gary Jennings.
Gary Jennings. And this guy really has come out of nowhere for me, though. I mean, I saw him do a few things last season, but this season, man, he's lighting it up out there. I mean, in fact, I think he had maybe close to 100 yards receiving.
Yeah, it's because he's finally given the opportunity. You know, he's always been a great receiver. That's why they recruited him. I remember in the Cactus Bowl when we played him my senior year, it was his freshman year. He scored a huge touchdown. Probably it was like 65-yard touchdown bomb against Arizona State. You know, it was great. He has the potential. He has all the tools he needs to be as successful as he is, and he's just finally getting the opportunity to show it.
And again, that's what it's all about. These guys have been very patient about getting opportunity. And again, this guy's on fire. I expect to hear bigger and better things from Gary Jennings. And again, the whole Mountaineer squad at this point, if they continue to do what they've been doing, I mean, the Virginia Tech game was a winnable game, you know?
Yeah.
So again, I feel like we're on the right track. Delaware State is going to come in here and get a little old West Virginia hospitality. I mean, what do you think about the game coming up, West Virginia versus Del State?
I'm excited for it.
There you go. That's key. Now listen, that's what you got to do is convey to the fans. Be excited for when the Mountaineers come up here and prepare to do what we do. So, guys, we're at this stage in the program where we're going to ask you, the audience, to give us some good questions. And if your question's good enough, I got some more stuff to give away. Look at this cool reserve parking deal here. So all you have to do is ask me a good question, and we'll start giving you some of this stuff. What do we got? Any questions about? We're even taking soccer questions. Oh, there we go. There we go. We saw a soccer hand. I mean, I don't know yet. We'll see.
Would Braden please tell us about her coaching staff at UHS Girls Soccer and maybe the difference between your freshman year onward?
Good question.
All right. Well, my coach is Graham Peace and Kat Devlin, and my freshman year it was Ashley. She quit my sophomore year, and Graham took over. And it's a huge difference. Like, Graham has built our team from the bottom where we went. I mean, my freshman year, we were not very good. I mean, I'll say it too plain and simple, but from then on, I mean, the next year we made two regionals. We lost, but we were better than we ever been. And then to last year, I mean, we won a state championship. I say it again, but it's just, I think to me, it's like crazy how we could change in 2 years to being the team that we are now and having the confidence, the momentum that we've been able to build for ourselves the past couple of years.
You know, that's an interesting question, even in terms of just coaching staff as it relates to WVU. Over the last couple of years, there's been a couple coaching changes, and it really has defined the program. And I assume with soccer is defining your program, that you guys are better. And WVU kind of goes through the same things in terms of coaching staff. We're happy to say we have Hogerson that's been here for the last couple of years, who have finally has gotten his guys out there and being able to be productive with them. In fact, last season I thought you guys were very productive in terms of the 10-5 season. That's right, 10-5. Yeah. What was it, 10-3? Okay.
I didn't play. I played the 2 years before.
Oh my God, man! I'm blaming on my old age here.
Yeah, but we were 10-3. Yeah, I mean, like you said, coaching change is definitely something that can actually, it could be good for the program, just so you can build it, but it can also be hard for the players as well. Certain people, especially in college, a lot of people go to colleges for a certain coach that recruited them, and they build a bond with them, and when that coach ends up leaving, it's like, wow, like, now what? This guy doesn't know me as well as the other coach know me, so you feel like it kind of backfires, and then you kind of regret your decision to come here. I was recruited by Shannon Dawson, who was my freshman year. He was the OC and everything, and I had 1 year with him, and after that year, he left. He left and went to Kentucky, and like Jake, for instance, Jake was here too. They left, and just seeing the defense go through a lot of coaching changes, it kind of like as a team, it kind of helped us grow and build strong, just because we knew that no matter what, the guys, the brotherhood they're going through the same thing as I'm going through. That coach recruited him too. The same way he recruited me, but nevertheless, we got to come together, because whoever the coach may be, they're not on the field. We're on the field. We're the ones that can get fingers pointed out and everything. So it just helped us grow stronger, and then just the coaching was just an extra edge, on it. Like I'm saying, like I'm very fortunate, very blessed. Coach Gibson finally he came back home to West Virginia, because I hands down tell you that's one of the best coaches, offense or defense, in the nation. That's hands down Gibson. Right. My favorite coach. Even though I was on the other side of the field with him, that was definitely one of my favorite coaches, and I didn't even play for him.
That's all right. That's all right. I tell you, and I want excellent question though. You allowed us to add on to it, so we'll give you the reserved parking space deal. But I'm gonna add just the last thing I'll add to that. My son, JT Thomas III, he plays for the New York Giants. You talk about coaching changes. That kid had coaches. Every 2 years he had a new coach. In high school, he had 4 high school coaches. Came to West Virginia, he had 2 coaches. Then he got drafted by the Bears, stayed there for 2 years with a coach. Went to Jacksonville by a coach who brought him there. Stayed there for 2 years, coach. And his 3rd year with the Giants now, he's on the 2nd coach.
Yeah.
So he knows a little bit about, to be honest with y'all, and I'm sure both of you guys can attest to this, it's also an opportunity to prove yourself to someone else.
Yeah.
And that can be a positive in some sense.
Yeah, just like starting brand new over. It can be positive where you don't have any bias towards you, and you just start brand new. You finally get the opportunity to show.
Great question. Any more questions? All you have to do is raise your hand, and we'll get to the mic. Here we go.
On the subject of coaches, you want to touch on Jake Spavital a little bit? What he's done so far for the team and that sort of thing, the new OC?
Good question. So from my standpoint, he's really been a help where Dana now has the ability to kind of do the head coaching deal. Now, obviously, they probably chalk it up before the game all week long. In the same sense, that's a lot of pressure that he has inherited now as the OC. What do you think about the duties being transferred from the head coach to the new OC?
I feel like that's probably one of the best things that happened in West Virginia, for the football program, just because it takes a lot out of Dana's hand, because he doesn't have to worry just about the offense. He has to worry about the offense and defense and special teams. He now allows him to focus on all the areas, instead of concentrating on one. Because when I was there, he was the offense, he was the OC, and it kind of took away from like the defensive players, their relationship with him, just because he was more an offensive coach. And with Jake there, it's like he's born to do this. Like he is born to be an offensive coordinator, and it's showing up just by you see how potent the offense is. I mean, it was very potent when he was first here with Geno, Stead, and Tavon with that air raid offense. When he was first here it was very potent, and I feel like if anybody to do it to take it off of Dana responsibility, it was Jake. So it's very exciting to see.
And you know, from what I hear and what I gather, the relationship between the two, you know, it seems like Coach Hogerson was sort of like his mentor, groomer, or whatever you want to call it, and to be able to hand your reins over to a guy that you have that much confidence speaks to the level of what Coach Spavital has been able to accomplish in his coaching, in his short coaching career at the Division I level.
Right.
You know, it really speaks to what he's achieved this for. Great question. Great question. Now, the thing about it, we can't give you anything.
You know,
All right, listen, we got one really nice gift here. That you got a question? Yes, sir. We'll be right over there. And this is a really cool gift. I know.
It's a question for Braden. Last night, you played Morgantown High School to a 1-1 tie. Morgantown scored a goal in the first half. University scored a goal in the second half. Describe the difference in your play of your team between the first half and second half, and any adjustments you made at halftime.
Well, the first half we came out kind of flat. You know, we weren't playing as well as like we obviously have been, and we weren't really didn't have the energy that we needed to have in order to complete a goal. And then when we got scored on, we still hadn't kicked it into gear yet. And then at halftime, we had a talk, and we went to our little huddle before the game, and we all kind of decided, you know what, we need to step it up. Like, we knew that we weren't playing where we needed to play, and we just got the energy and built ourselves up, and so we could score that goal, and we could tie it up and have I mean, it's not the result everyone wants, but, I mean, it's still a result that,
Okay, it's a win is a win, right?
Yeah. So in the second half, you're saying y'all play with a more sense of urgency rather than the
Yeah.
first half.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Question, this is a question I probably should have asked early on. How long is the game?
it's 80 minutes,
80 minutes. Wow. Okay.
And then when you go to college, it's gonna be what?
90.
Wow. Oh, okay.
An hour and a half of running, man. Let's put it that way.
Wow. So again, I can piggyback off that question because in terms of football, right, there's big adjustments in football, right? I'm gonna use the word adjustment. Even WB in this big win, Gibby talks about him going in during halftime and making adjustments and trying to tell the guys that he wants more for him, and he has to be able to manage that week in and week out, making adjustments. Same thing with Coach Hogerson. He got to be able to make those adjustments. But guys, we're gonna have to cut it off there. We're gonna tell you guys and really encourage you guys to come back here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. And if you don't catch us here, make sure you go to DominionPost.com. You'll always catch it there. Until next time, huddle up.